I observe times when we as humans, but especially we as women, try to disconnect from what our body is telling us. We tend to not want to feel things that are difficult physically, mentally, emotionally. So we numb them. We use medications over the counter or whatever. Some people use food. Some people use alcohol. Some people sit in front of the television and binge watch, or they scroll on Facebook for hours on end just to numb whatever it is that they're not wanting to face within themselves. One of the amazing things that I have seen with women as I've been learning and reading and growing myself is that the latter part of our menstrual cycle, premenstrual and the time where we are bleeding, is the perfect time to lean in to what our body is telling us, to essentially look at our life and the things in it and decide if it really is congruent with where we see ourselves. So that has been revolutionary for me, to say that each month we as women get a do-over. Essentially, we get to refine our life and the things in it and the things that we're doing and the actions that we're taking, and we can say, that doesn't fit, or yes, that aligns perfectly with the vision that I have for my life, my business, my family, my career path, all of these things. And when we try to, disconnect and not lean into those feelings, physical feelings or emotions, we just are like bypassing our body's way of leading us. I think I shared that I just had this experience where it was like my body just, went slam on the brakes because I had been pushing really hard. I leaned into some of the emotions that I was experiencing, but then guess what? I started my period yesterday, and I experienced just really strong emotions that I haven't had with my cycle in several months. So I was on my coaching call with my business coach, and she's awesome because she lives this kind of same like cyclical, emotional, responsive lifestyle, and she uses that in her coaching as well. So I just kind of felt those things that I needed to feel, and it's interesting because I think, again, as women, we have been taught and forced to believe that we need to minimize our emotions and we need to live our lives the way men do and do business the way men do, and it doesn't work for us, does it? It doesn't work for us. I feel like the more that we can tap into the power that we were created with as women, that we were created differently than men. We are not the same beings as them, and we have different superpowers that we can use to create change, heal, and grow, and all of these things just by listening to our body and listening to the needs of our body as we go throughout our cycle and throughout our month. I say month, but not all women have a 28-day cycle. Some women have 35-day cycles. Some women have 22-day cycles. So it is an average. If you were never told that, here's the freedom to say you can be normal and have a normal cycle and not have a 28-day cycle. As we go throughout our cyclical pattern, there are times where you're going to be more out there. There are times where you're going to be, if you have a business, you're going to be networking. If you have young children, you're going to be setting up play dates and interacting with other moms. And then there are times where you need to, and you should take the freedom to slow down and rest. I will be totally honest that this is something that I'm still working on, because I struggle with the idea that I could shut down my practice for 5 days out of the month just because I don't feel like being in my business during that time, or seeing new patients. But I just have to share with you that yesterday I had a new patient and I was like just not on top of my game when it came to the processes and procedures that I do for the initial assessment with a new patient. And I was like, what is wrong with me? But nothing was wrong with me. My body was just saying like, hey, let's just stop. Let's just slow down. Let's just take it easy. And even today, I'm not giving business advice here, but anyway, I was 5 minutes late to the office, and normally I am not an early to the office type of person, but I'm starting to see a pattern of I'm early to the office when I'm in the pre-ovulation and ovulation stages of my cycle, and I'm more likely to be like right on time or a little bit late in premenstrual and menstrual time of my cycle. So this is one of the important aspects of tracking your cycle, and not just like, oh, I got my period on this day and it ended on this day and that's it. Like tracking your emotions, tracking your energy, how you feel at different times of the day during those phases of your cycle, and then leaning into those things and knowing that, oh, this is not a good time for me to go networking, or this is not a good time for me to commit to all of the things with the parent-teacher organization. This is the best time for me to volunteer in my child's classroom, or this is the best time for me to schedule a meeting or schedule a presentation for my business. When we live our lives aligned with our cycle and aligned with our emotions and energy throughout our cycle, then we're actually more connected. We're more connected with others, we're more connected with ourselves, we're more connected with God. It makes it easier for us to interact with our children and our spouses, and for me, with my patients, other people that I do business with. It just makes it easier to really be yourself and not be hard on yourself in that time of your cycle where you may feel like down on yourself. Everything's going wrong, nothing's going right. Well, it's your body just saying like, okay, like let's reflect. What went well in the last month? What made you feel your best? What made you feel most alive? What things were just a total drag that you don't really want to continue doing? Our bodies are a great magnifier of all of the incongruencies in our life and the things that just stand out like sore thumbs and say, stop doing this because it's not working. And that's okay. It's okay to let go of things. Our body does it every month. Our body sheds and lets go. So if we do that physically and mentally and emotionally and in our life and in our jobs and with our family, there's freedom in that. I hope this was helpful for you. And I would like to encourage you, if there's a woman in your life who you think would benefit from this information, if there's someone in your life who you know needs encouragement with their physical, mental, emotional health, their whole being, if they are struggling with their cycle, their hormones, if they're struggling to get pregnant, invite them to this group.